Sit back, relax. You're listening to the Brogcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brogcast. I hope you guys enjoy the new intro. I decided to change it up a little bit because my previous intro had some music that was copyrighted and made by somebody else, and I wanted to make something original. And of course, I didn't want to keep getting copyright struck on YouTube, so I wanted to make something original, and I wanted to go for sort of like a relaxing vibe. So I hope that's the kind of vibe that it gives you guys when you guys listen to it. As far as the video part of it, I I spent way too much time on it. The song itself took me like 5, maybe 10 minutes. The video part of it took me forever because I was so like indecisive. I think what happened was I had so many ideas in my head of what I wanted the video to be that I just kind of overloaded myself and I didn't know where to start. But eventually I kind of narrowed it down and found something that worked and was much more simplistic. So in today's episode, I want it to be kind of question-based because I don't really have anything interesting going on or any news to really talk about. So I went ahead and I put in into an AI. I was like, what questions should I ask for my podcast? So I'm going to be answering these questions. In the future, if there are any questions that you guys want me to answer, DM me or comment down below, and I'll answer them for you guys in the next podcast. I did do something like this previously for the first couple episodes of the Brogcast, so I hope some of these aren't already answered. I hope I haven't already answered these before. So if I'm answering the same question, I apologize. But before I get into the questions, there's one little thing I want to talk about. So as you guys know, I am a wrestling fan, and I am getting super hyped for WrestleMania. I talked about this before, but I haven't been watching wrestling as religiously as from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, at least I just watched WWE back then, but I would not miss an episode of SmackDown. I would not miss an episode of Raw. I would not miss an episode of NXT. Hell, WWE Superstars, main event. I watched every bit of WWE content there was back then. And then I'd say around 2017, this is when I was getting a little bit older, it just kind of died off and I didn't have the attention span. I didn't have really the energy, like any of the energy to get invested into it. And so it just kind of tapered off. And then when AEW burst onto the scene, I was like, this is kind of new. I want to check this out. And so I got into AEW, started watching that religiously. And then recently, it kind of died off a little bit because I've noticed that there's a different vibe to AEW now. I don't know if they're losing money. I don't know if they're losing fans, but like their venues are getting smaller. And like I just have this feeling like it just doesn't have that energy anymore. So I haven't been watching AEW as of late, but I've been really going hard in the paint and watching every episode of WWE. So I've been watching Raw and SmackDown. I should have said, I haven't been watching every bit of WWE programming, but Raw and SmackDown haven't missed an episode in the past few months. So I'm getting really hyped for WrestleMania. I've always been a big CM Punk fan, so I'm really excited to hear how that storyline pans out. It's still kind of developing, but so far, there's this thing where Paul Heyman, way back in the day, was CM Punk's guy. He was CM Punk's manager for a very long time, and they have this big friendship. Well, recently, Paul Heyman has become Roman Reigns' manager. What's he called? The Wise Man. Paul Heyman is the Wise Man for Roman Reigns, what they call the tribal chief. And then recently, I think it was last week, CM Punk said that CM Punk said that Paul Heyman was going to be in his corner for WrestleMania. And so it's kind of shifted a little bit. There's a little bit of a plot twist going on. It's still kind of developing, but oh man, I would love to see Paul Heyman in CM Punk's corner. Like that would just bring back so much nostalgia from when I was a kid with the Paul Bearer and the Undertaker and the CM Punk feud. Like I want that to come back a little bit, you know? I like what Roman is doing with the tribal chief angle and everything, but I just want a little bit of that nostalgia. Same with the John Cena angle. I would like to see it's probably not going to happen. It's very very archaic and dated, but I really want John Cena to come out in his basic thugonomics, the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick. You know, with a basic thugonomics theme, him in the throwback jerseys, the snapbacks, the pump up Reeboks. Like I want all that. I want that just for one last night, because this is John Cena's last year wrestling. He's retiring, and so I think just for one last hurrah, I want him to come out in that gimmick, and especially since he's a heel now. That's another thing. John Cena is now a heel, and I think that would just be perfect for his heel gimmick. There are people saying that, because I'm not the only one who wants this. There's a lot of other people on the internet who want John Cena to come out as the Doctor of Thugonomics again. They're saying, oh, it doesn't work because John Cena's super old and he's got this bald spot and yada yada. But I don't know, man. I just want to see it. I just want to see that. Like, that would be so freaking cool. But I think it's cool that John Cena's finally a heel after, what was it, 20 years now? He's finally a heel. So at least there's that. If he doesn't come out in his basic thugonomics theme with his, you know, his rapper gimmick, it's fine. I'm just really excited to see where this heel turn goes for the next year or so, especially at WrestleMania. Like, I'm really excited to see where this goes. And there are a lot of other amazing angles for this WrestleMania, but those are like the main two that I'm like super stoked to see. All right, let's dig into these questions. So the first question is, what's a book or movie that has significantly impacted your life? Now, I'm going to start off by saying that I am not a movie buff by any means. And I have not seen a huge, massive chunk of movies that I really need to see. So answering this question is kind of a difficult one. But, one movie that I saw that had a huge impact on me, I don't know if it had an impact on my life, but a huge impact on me, just definitely punched me in the stomach, like got that gut-wrenching feeling, was when I watched Mean Creek with Josh Peck and, what's his name? He's one of Macaulay Culkin's brothers. I can't remember. Is it Rory Culkin? I think it's Rory Culkin. And a few other actors. Mean Creek, all right? And the reason why it hit me so hard was because prior to seeing this movie, I thought that this was going to be a comedy movie, because the only context that I knew about this movie was these clips of Josh Peck and his character. I think his name was George in the movie, of him just cussing on the boat in the creek, because that was huge on YouTube back in the day. It was used in a lot of YouTube poops, a lot of YouTube edits. And so I'd always just see that. And I knew that was from Mean Creek. So that was the mindset I had going into watching Mean Creek. And so I assumed it was a comedy. And I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but that movie was not a comedy. That movie is a tragedy. That movie is a tragic story. So when I watched that for the first time, I was going into it like, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be so funny. And after the movie, I was like, oh my God. I was like speechless. I was like, I can't believe it. This was not a comedy. This was the most horrific, tragic thing I have ever seen. Like, and another reason why it had an impact on my life was because that movie was filmed around my area. So I got to see a lot of a lot of places that I was familiar with. I was like, oh yeah, I know that place. Oh, I know that place. And it was kind of cool seeing that. But the reason why it had such an impact on me was because I was completely caught off guard. I was like, okay, nope, not a comedy. Not a comedy at all. All right, the next question is, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why? So, the historical figure that I would pick is St. Patrick. And the reason being is because I have some Irish ancestry, and I don't know. I would like to just go back in time because there's not really a whole lot about him. A lot of this is just kind of like legend type stuff. Like, not all of it is factual information. So I would just like to go back in time and just talk to him and like get the real story, like what his life was all about, what he was doing, all that kind of stuff. So St. Patrick is the historical figure that I would like to meet. So the third question is, what's a skill you've always wanted to learn but haven't yet? I would say singing. Now, I've I've attempted singing, but I've never learned how to sing. And it's frustrating because I'm a big music person and so I want to sing a lot of these songs, but I just can't do it right now. Like, I'm so tone deaf, it's not even funny. Now, I can rap a little bit. I know because I'm a drummer, so I have the rhythm down. But as far as like tone, I can't get my voice to sound good while singing slash rapping. It just sounds really monotone and it sounds awful. So that would be something that I want to kind of buckle down and learn and try to get good at. A lot of you OGs who have been following me for a long time have seen my attempts at singing, and it's bad, dude. My project's terrible. You know, I can do like comedy rap because that's not taken seriously. It's supposed to be laughed at, and so like it's a combination of Jonathan's bad rapping and singing voice, plus like the lyrical content. But as far as rapping like a serious song, nope, it's just not going to work right now because I don't have the voice for it right now. But yeah, I would like to learn how to get my tone right. Question number 4: Can you share a memorable travel experience and what made it special? So to preface this, I've never really traveled that much, at least out of state. I've been to like 3 states. That's about it. So I don't really travel much. But one memorable trip for me was when I went to outdoor school in 6th grade. Now, it was not a good trip. At least most of it. Most of the trip was garbage, and I hated it. Um, but it was definitely memorable. So I'll dig into a few different stories when it came to my outdoor school trip in 6th grade. So the first one, this one was terrifying. Before I tell the story, I want to preface this by saying I have barophobia. It's the fear of floating up in the air, basically gravity failing itself, right? I have barophobia. It's stupid, but I have this phobia. Well, at outdoor school, we went to this beach, and it was really really windy on this beach. And I remember I had like my homework slash project Ziploc bag thing in it that had like all these things that I needed for outdoor school to do like the activities. I remember walking on this beach, the wind picked up and the sand underneath me started flying. So guess what happened? I lost ground and I essentially started floating. And I was like, this is my irrational fear coming true. Like, I am literally floating up in there. What is going on? And I remember for the next 3 days, whenever I would go to bed, I would have nightmares of that. Or not nightmares, but I couldn't go to sleep because I kept thinking about that. Like, it was surreal. So that was terrifying. Another story, when it came to outdoor school, I remember this. This was so funny. So, during outdoor school, we could not have our cell phones. We could not have our gaming systems. We could not have anything really. they would allow you to have your electronic device during the bus ride. You just couldn't when we got to like the wherever we were having the outdoor school event, right? So during this bus ride, I did not bring my cell phone or anything like that. All I brought was a portable CD player, some headphones, and the Nickelback Dark Horse album on CD. And the entire bus ride to outdoor school and the entire bus ride back, me and my best friend Ford, who is our bassist in our band Mimpathy, we listened to that album back to back from outdoor school on the bus and on the way back. I don't know how many times we listened to that album, but dude, we hit that album hard. It was I don't know. It was so bizarre, but like we were both in a Nickelback phase. Ford still likes Nickelback. I kind of like Nickelback, but he likes Nickelback more than me. But definitely back then, we were in a Nickelback phase, and I'll just remember that like everyone else had like their DS lights and their Game Boys and like their cell phones and all that, and all I had was a portable CD player with Nickelback. Oh man. Um, Another thing I want to share about this outdoor school experience was some of the songs that they had us sing over and over and over again. I still kind of remember to this day. I don't remember them like fully, but I remember like some of the rhythm parts of it. I'm not gonna recite them for you. That's just cringy. But I remember me and Ford were hanging out. This was a few years ago, but this was still years and years after outdoor school, and we were talking about outdoor school, and we are just like, I think we remember those songs, and it's like we started singing them, and then it was like it was all coming back to us, like oh yeah yeah, this was the song that they made us sing before we could leave lunch and like and all that. So yeah, another thing about the outdoor school experience, it was very bizarre. All the teachers had these really weird names. I remember our sixth grade teacher in particular, her name was Branch. Everyone had these really one was named like Firefly. Another teacher was named like Frog. It was, and then our little camp, I guess you could call it campsites, whatever. Were named after animals, and the one that I stayed in was Camp Tree Frog. That's right. Oh, there's I just got another memory. So this was after one of our activities. I think I want to say we were by the water doing something, but we were on our way back, and it was really dark out. It was like maybe 7 or 8 at night. So, and this was yeah, it was really really dark. I couldn't really see where I was going, and all of the camp areas, they were like in these small little buildings, right? And they all looked the same. And I thought I was walking to my camp building, Camp Sheepfrog. And so, I walk in there and I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, I'm here. And then I see this Batman poster on the wall. And I'm like, last time I checked, my camp building did not have a Batman poster. I'm like, I could be seeing things, but like, I don't remember this. And then I look around some more and I see these kids I don't recognize from my group. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong cabin. Like, oh shit. So I immediately ran out there, and I think my cabin was like the next one over. But oh, I was freaking. I was like, oh no. I'm sure like the camp counselors were wondering where the hell I was. I think they did. Like once I got back there, they're like, Jonathan, where were you? But yeah, I was like, huh, Batman poster. I don't remember this. All right, I think that's enough for the outdoor school experience. I think I went a I think I went a little too long on that one. All right, here we go. Question number 5. What is one piece of advice that you would give your younger self? Um, I would tell my younger self, just calm down. Um, I still struggle with it a little bit to this day, but when I was a kid, I was very anxious, very panicky, quite often, very nervous. I would just get nervous and anxious about everything. So one piece of advice I would tell my younger self is just calm down. Everything's gonna be okay. Just chill out. that's 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 probably the shortest answer I've given so far. But that's pretty much the one piece of advice I would give my younger self. Next one is, what is a challenge you faced that taught you a valuable lesson? I really don't want to get too personal about this kind of thing because there are a lot of personal things that have happened to me that have taught me a lot in life. But to kind of stay away from that zone, I would say this: what I'm doing right now. I've been doing this since 2008, and this hobby, if you want to call it that, has taught me a lot of different things as far as editing and ideas and putting stuff together, and having to deal with all the haters and having to deal with not having many views and just doing this for fun. And like, I've learned so many different lessons about this hobby, making YouTube videos. Um, so yeah, I would say doing this as a hobby taught me a lot of valuable lessons. Next is, if you could live in any fictional universe, what one would you choose? Now, this one is semi-fictional, um, but it is technically fictional. But it's not like animated, or like what you see is a real place. That fictional universe that I would live in is Sunnyvale Trailer Park from the Trailer Park Boys. It just seems like such a chaotic, like, mayhem, not a dull moment. Like, there's always crazy stuff going on, it seems like, on that show. And I would just I would just love to witness all that kind of stuff. Leahy's drunken antics, Ricky getting shot a bunch of times and doing stupid stuff, Bubbles and his cats, Julian and his plans and his denial of him being obsessed with Patrick Swayze. Uh, J Rock, especially. J Rock is probably my favorite character besides Bubbles. Him and his shitty rapping skills and his disses on Randy. Like, it just goes on and on. I would like to live there and just watch all the crazy antics. The next one is, what is something you've done that you're really proud of? I would say my passion for drumming. Um, that was something that took a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of dedication to master. And even though it felt effortless, and I don't feel like I know I have worked hard to learn it, but it just felt so effortless, even though it felt so effortless, I look back and I'm super proud that I really did put in the time and effort to get good at it. Next is, how do you define success, and has that definition changed over time? Man, this is a deep question. And I have a feeling I've answered this before on this podcast. This was one of those recycled questions that I was afraid of. But if I haven't answered it before by chance, so how it's changed over time. Um, so I think this applies to everybody. This part of it. When you're a kid, you want to be super famous, super rich. You want to have it all. Um, but as an adult, success to me is just being happy and content and living a simple life. You know, that's success to me. The very last question is, what's a trend or movement you think will shape the future? Okay, so I'm not gonna say AI because that's super cliche, and everyone says that AI is gonna shape the future, and obviously it's going to. But I'm not gonna pick that one because that's cliche and it's been used over and over again. I would say this is semi cliche, but I think it's less cliche than the AI answer. I think um, social media. So YouTube, Facebook, social media sites, but particularly things like YouTube. I think getting online and sharing your thoughts about stuff, I think it already has shaped the past and the present day ever since social media was a thing. But I think that will continue to progress and grow, and it will continue to change the world. All right, y'all, that does it for this episode of the Brogcast. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. We're going to send you out with the outro, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.